Just heard a shot. Let's see if he got him.
My name is Matt, and I live for moments like these.
Guys, I killed the biggest buck of my life this morning.
I'm far from an expert, but using persistence and a little bit of luck, I'm able to make some pretty cool things happen. I do my best to capture the entire harvest, the kill, the prep, and my favorite part, the meal. Because to me, it's more than a hunt. It's man versus deer.
He is a mass monster. Holy cow. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, I really appreciate you guys taking the time to check out a man versus deer video. Post a lot of hunting videos, mostly in the style of catch, clean, cook. If you're into that sort of thing, smack that subscribe button, turn on those notification bells.
We're hunting with Missouri Public Hunter!
And we're hunting with Missouri Public Hunter, my goodness. So we, Mr. Missouri Public Hunter, myself, and my brother decided that we were going to get out, and we're having some deer season blues, and there's not a better way to scratch that itch than some squirrel hunting. Season ends here in a week or so, so we're going to get out here and try to knock a few bushy tails down. We're using 10/22s. We're just going to kind of spread out and almost do like a deer drive kind of thing where we just kind of spread out enough to give each other some room, but we can still see each other for safety. We're just going to kind of walk slow and see if we can get some squirrels on the ground. As always, if we're successful, I've got a pretty good recipe in mind for cooking these things, but we're gonna get after it. So I'm gonna gear up. You've got to, what in the world is this? Why does your GoPro look like a Tesla compared to my GoPro?
So, what I'm doing here is, this is my...
Why did you put a mini squirrel tail on me?
Because this way they can hear you talk whenever you're far away from me. So, I'm running a GoPro Hero 9 Black.
How am I supposed to talk trash?
That's the whole point.
You'll hear it.
A DJI wireless mic setup. You've got to buy this little piece in this case to run it all through. But basically, I can tell right now by looking at the screen on the DJI receiver that both mine and Matt's microphones are picking up. And right now they've got good, clean audio going into a GoPro, which in my opinion is the biggest thing that sucks with GoPro.
Level with me. This has nothing to do with sound. This is to attract squirrels, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, guys, we're fixing to hopefully knock down some bushy tails. Got the 10/22. This is actually a mountain bike mount, but I've got a GoPro mounted on it. And then Matt and I, Mr. Missouri Public Hunter, are both rocking these boot bandoliers. Got some game shears, gloves, outdoor edge, extra 22 shells, as many GoPro batteries as you can stuff in there, and it's not even close to full. So we're gonna see if we can get some squirrels knocked down. We timed this perfectly, that rain.
Yeah.
Let up a little bit. So guys, what we're gonna do is we're kind of gonna spread out once we get into some of the bigger timber and just kind of maybe 100 yards apiece where we can still see each other. But it's been a little rainy all day, and we timed it to where we got out here right when the weather broke, so hopefully some wildlife will start moving around and we can knock some of these bushy tails down. We're also doing a little bit of scouting as we go through here. We're on some public land that none of us has ever been to before, you know. We decided that we wanted to go somewhere new for everybody. And we're kind of shed hunting and scouting.
Is that a dry pond right downhill from the wet pond?
Maybe.
It's a double pond.
Probably a double lagoon 100 years ago. Probably. But that's kind of what we're doing. And hopefully we'll get into something pretty quick. There we go, 100%.
We might. It's going to happen now.
We might backtrack through that bottom.
No, the bottoms aren't going to be good, man. The bottoms are all cedar.
I did not get to finish talking.
Because your idea was bad.
Well, where me and Matt...
Like, if you're fixing to shoot your foot, I'm not going to let you shoot your foot first and then tell you.
Anyway, we could come back through that bottom, and because there was about 5 or 6 nests me and Matt saw down through there. They look pretty good.
Dusty, tell me about your camo. Man, and we're getting to some really good stuff. We have not seen a squirrel. We've seen 2 armadillos and about 3 woodpeckers, but that's it. But we're finally getting into some open terrain, and it's getting later in the day. The wind has stopped, the rain has stopped, so surely one of us will run into a squirrel at some point.
This guy acting like he knows what he's talking about.
Oh, squirrels. Pine nuts and
Pine
shit.
nuts, squirrels. You gotta get...
Yeah, you guys are probably farting through there and scaring them off.
Hey.
Anyways, though, we're going to continue making our way up this hill and hopefully get onto this oak flat and see some stuff. Hope that's what we're looking for. We need to find
Little bitty, hey, Dusty, little bitty chocolate raisins.
We were walking up here, and I'm like, we keep seeing deer scat, and I was like, you could see deer scat and rabbit scat. What the heck does squirrel scat look like? And how come you never find it? So Matt Googled what it looked like. Here's more deer. This is fresh too. They're all over this hillside. If you look at Dusty, it's telltale signs of walking a bunch of miles in rugged country. You can see a little sweat line here. The beanie's tucked up over the hat. He's got some debris in here. Notice the unsatisfactory look on his face. It's all the makings of walking I bet we've walked 4 miles or so.
Quite a bit.
It feels like it anyways. But we haven't seen a single squirrel. We've seen 2 armadillos and a bunch of sign for deer and turkey and stuff like that. Dropped a few pins to maybe come back and investigate, but 0 squirrels.
0.
So we're gonna start making our circle. Probably be dark by the time we get back to the truck, and hopefully this this trip back will be a little bit more lively. But you never know. Oh, Matt, while I got this thing rolling, why don't you give us a squirrel call? You fooled me the first time you did this.
Let me put it in. No, I don't have nothing. I've been able to do that since I was a kid. I don't know.
Probably because he's squirrely. He's the squirrely dude.
I feel like
Well, guys, we're most of the way back to the truck. Probably about a 1/4 mile left to go. We got about an hour before dark, so we're just walking has not been working. So we're all gonna sit down. I found a holler that I really, really liked. Those guys are gonna walk until they see something they really, really like. And we're just kind of gonna sit the rest of the night out and see what happens. Well, we finally got into some. I shot one. I believe Dusty got one. And I hear Matt shooting over there by the truck, so I think we'll have more than a couple down. It's taken right till dark, and they were right by the truck. Well, it's a good bit past legal shooting light now, but it took me a minute to get back to the truck. I heard Matt shoot. I know Dusty got one and I got one. Let's see what the Missouri Public Hunter did.
I'm right in the head.
Dude, nice shot.
Yeah, lots of meat there. So that's it. There was more squirrels on the other side of the road.
Yeah, that's where me and Dusty got into. Did you hop over?
Yeah, I hopped over and was shooting over
I
there
thought
too.
I heard you shooting.
Yeah.
I immediately, like as soon as I crossed the road, I seen 2.
I got into him back there, but I just can't shoot. It was thick. Heard someone shooting over here, hopped across the road thinking there may be something going, and sure enough, I got into a bunch of them, but it was just getting so dark, you couldn't.
Yeah. Dusty walked parallel with me, and I'm pretty sure he killed the one that was with the one I got.
Yeah.
But
Well, hey, we got some.
we did. He should be back over here pretty quick.
We weren't completely skunked.
Now we can catch, clean, cook.
Now we can.
Here.
I can see you. It
Oh,
ain't
yeah. It ain't great, is it? Here's mine.
nice.
Kind of hit him right here. Well, is that the head right there? Or is it behind the shoulder? Or is that right on the shoulder?
Might be right on it.
Close to the head anyways.
Yeah.
But
That's all I could see of mine was his head sticking out of the tree.
You know, if I could pick the type of squirrels to get into, it's the grays. I think they eat better.
Yep, the grays do eat better.
Yeah. Dusty shot a gray too because it was one that was with this one. And I shot at one more, but it was... Once I shot the first time, they were...
Yeah. They get sketched out real quick.
Yep. And there was a couple of big knotty squirrel trees in there. I think everything made a pass to
I think we just went on the wrong side of the road.
Gotcha.
We were successful, guys. We got 3 squirrels. That is definitely enough to do like a catch, clean, cook style video. Don't roast me too bad in the comments section. I haven't cleaned a squirrel since I was a teenager, but I think I remember how. We're gonna find out. If you got a different way or a better way, put your way in the comments. I do read those, I do respond to those. So, we're gonna basically take and start this process. We're gonna take and we're gonna cut right below the base of the tail here. And we're gonna cut through the tail and into the skin until we get through that tail right there. And then we're gonna cut a little bit of the skin out, just like so, to where it starts to go up the backside. Just like that. We're then going to stand on the back legs. You stand on the back legs or the tail? I don't remember. I think you stand on the back legs. Or stand on the tail. Let's see. I think you stand on the tail. Maybe like that. And then you're going to pull the tail off the squirrel. Okay. We're gonna go plan B. Plan B for this one is you make a slit in the back, and I've done this before too, and you just kind of pull the fur off of each side, just like so. And that's what we're after there. We're gonna do the same thing to this side, yeah. We're gonna pull it up over that head and over those arms, just like this. You know what? I like that method better. We're not gonna do the tail stomping thing no more. That worked way better. Then we're gonna take.
You did that quicker than I did.
Then we're gonna take gaming shears and we're going to cut the front shoulders off, right in the shank somewhere. We're gonna do the same things with the back legs, and we take the tail completely off. If it doesn't want to cut, I'll take the game shears, and most game shears are built thick enough you can do this and just bend them slightly to break that bone, and then they'll cut through just like that. Scraps go in the trash, and then your gaming shears should be mean enough you can take the entire head. We're just gonna break it. Take the entire head off with them. Is that skin or fat? Let's see. Just like so. We're gonna get rid of this little fat right here. Now then, we're gonna take our shears. We're gonna go right up the middle of this bad boy. Cut, 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 cut. Go right up the sternum. Just like so. And then everything in the middle comes out.
I need to pay attention to that, because what little bit I paid attention of, that's way slicker than what I
We're
do.
gonna split the pelvis open, make sure there's nothing in there. And that is a clean squirrel. A lot of people will take them and freeze them up just like that. I'm gonna go a step farther, and I'm just gonna go ahead and quarter these up because,
That's hardly even got any hair on it, dude.
yeah. I catch, clean, cook a lot of stuff, Mr. Eden.
Yeah.
That's how we did it
So
back in the
I'm gonna
day.
get through a lot of the meat with the outdoor edge just because it's so much sharper. And I'm gonna go shoulder, quartered. I'm gonna go shoulder. You can feel that little bone in there. We're just gonna cut it right off, just like a deer, just like you would do a deer. There's a little bone in this one. What is that? Shouldn't be. There it is. And then we're gonna go back legs. Now these got a little bit of bone. You don't wanna dull your knife on them, so bend them, chop them. Get that shear on there, just kind of break the bone. Chop it. You can take your scissors and cut a lot of this skin away from here, and then you can cut the ribs away like that. We're gonna cut our skin away. This is the same way I would do a rabbit too. On a rabbit, there's a little bit of meat up here, and you can keep that part too. On a squirrel, not so much. So we're going to break the spine, cut this piece off here, and then we're going to do the same thing back here by the pelvis. And this is where a good set of gaming shears really comes in handy.
You know what I use? through that bone.
Yes, it really want it. Matt's got a set of 10 snips.
Ah!
You just peel any of the fat off of there, and you've got your last piece there. So this is what your squirrel looks like, all broken up. You got your back quarters, you've got the tenderloins, the back strap, if you will, and then you've got your shoulders. There's our little squirrel. All right, guys, so we are back at my house after a successful public land squirrel hunt. We didn't get a ton of them, but we got more than enough to make a catch, clean, cook style video, and that's what we're gonna do. So I did want to pause real quick and tell you guys that if you're curious about any of the gear that I use, any and every piece of gear that I use can be found in the description, and there's product links to that. I am an Amazon affiliate, so if you click on one of those links and make a purchase, it does help me out. I get a kind of a small commission off of that, so any help right there is appreciated. Now, I've got my squirrel soaking in a saltwater solution. I do that with all my small game. Rabbit, squirrel, dove, a lot of my fish, including crappie. They'll sit in the saltwater solution for roughly an hour. And what that does is that draws a lot of the impurities out and gets a lot of hair and stuff like that to float to the top. And just make sure that we're starting off with something super clean. But yeah, that's where we are in the process. And for the recipe today, I'm gonna make something I really, really think you guys are gonna enjoy. I've never tried it before. Most of the time when I've had squirrel, I kind of bread it, or I, cook it till it falls apart and put it into something else. But I wanted to taste what it tastes like by itself. So we are going to pan fry some squirrel. We're going to make a homemade squirrel gravy after we do that, and we're going to bake up some biscuits just to have us aside. But I think that sounds pretty good. Let's get started. First step in this process is to give your squirrels a good rinse. Get that blood off there, get that salt off there. We're then gonna put them on a cutting board, and we're gonna dry them with a towel to make sure that we have a nice, clean, dry surface to start our cook with. We're gonna get a pan going on a medium heat. We're gonna put some olive oil in there and some butter in there. We're gonna let that pan start heating up, and we're gonna prep our squirrels. We're gonna do that by making a simple flour mixture. Flour, a lot of pepper, a little bit of salt. And we're just gonna give that a light toss in there. This doesn't really do a whole lot for the dish, but it will help it develop a nice crust. Once you got the squirrel rolled in the flour, we're gonna put it into the pan. We're gonna put a lid on there to steam it really nice. Hopefully this will help tenderize it. And this whole process with the squirrel is gonna take 20 or 30 minutes depending on your heat. While the squirrel was cooking, I went ahead and got my side dish ready. I wanted some biscuits to go along with the squirrels and gravy. Didn't do anything fancy, just instant biscuits, nothing crazy here. Just opened them up, put them in the oven. This is about halfway through our cook. As you can see, that squirrel has a really nice golden crust on it. Looks super appetizing. We're flipping them, putting the lid back on, letting them finish out. Didn't take too much longer, and they finished out really nicely. You can see it has a really good crust on both sides. Those are going on a plate, and then it's time to start our gravy. Gravy is a very personal thing. I like to take and put a little bit of flour in the pan, mix it with the oil and the bits in the bottom of the pan, and I like to add more flour until it just feels right, at which point I'll add some milk and start thickening it up. It's 100% personal preference. It's one of those things you just gotta play with to get it right. I did make a mistake here and added too little of an amount of milk when I did it, and so it caused a little bit of clumps and a lot of extra work for myself. I spent about 20 minutes whisking all those clumps out. Didn't really hurt the end result, but it caused me a lot more work than it would have if I'd have just done it right the first time. The gravy finished up about the same time as the biscuits. When the biscuits came out of the oven and the gravy was done, I knew it was time to start tasting stuff. All right, guys, we are done cooking, and it is time to start eating. This stuff, I always say this, but it's always true. Smells really, really good. These squirrel eggs actually look really, really appetizing. They got a really, really nice brown on each side. I tempt them at 160. That's when I take them out of there. And I've got a really, really thick, nice homemade squirrel gravy to go with it. And then 2 biscuits to wash everything down with. And yeah, let's just jump into this. So I'm gonna take a bite of this by itself, then I'm gonna dip it in some gravy, and then I'll get a bite of everything together. Let's see how we did. That is not bad. That is not bad at all. Now we're gonna take and get some of this, and we're gonna dip it in the gravy, and we're gonna see how that does with it. So I'm just gonna dunk the whole thing, and let's see what it does. Actually, let's taste this gravy by itself, see how it turned out. It's really thick. I like a thick gravy. Well, dang. Give me some on there. There we go. Let's dig in. That gravy's pretty good. That gravy is really good. Let's go in for some of that gravy using just our biscuit here. I'm gonna go in for more. All right, guys, so I've ate quite a bit of this. I'm gonna give you my honest feedback on how I think this went and how it tasted. And here's the good, it did taste good. I ate it, I enjoyed eating it. It tasted decent. And yeah, it reminds me kind of like a darker meat that you would see like on a turkey drumstick or something like that. So not bad there. The cons to it is that it was really, really chewy. It was hard to get the meat off the bone. I think if I had it to do over again, I would braise it really, really low and really, really slow and then make my gravy afterwards. And or I would put it in a crock pot, you know, to where the meat's just gonna fall off the bone, and then I would do something with it that way. So I don't know that I would repeat this method again without altering it just a little bit. The star of this dish was that gravy. That gravy was freaking phenomenal. I'm gonna sit here and eat the rest of it. But yeah, that squirrel gravy, that was the bomb, and I'm excited to be eating that. So, well guys, that's gonna do it for this video. I really hope that you enjoyed coming on this hunt with me. I hope that you liked it enough that you wanna come back and watch some other man versus deer hunts. As this video closes, there's gonna be 2 suggested videos that pop up. Both are gonna be man versus deer hunts. I hope that you'll click on one of those and give it a watch, and I hope that you like those enough that you'll consider subscribing. That's gonna do it for this video, guys. I wanna wish you good luck next time you're in the woods, and God bless.